So really, I like that Colorado is a Democrat state. Colorado is a blue state. So if the Republicans want to keep the Electoral College, then the Republicans have went ahead and made themselves irrelevant for, time immemorial. This is a blue state. You're not going to pick. Nobody's going to pick. You got no power. You got no power. So Colorado is a blue state. I love that Colorado is a blue state. I love that the Democrats, the conversation here is between the Democratic Party, the progressive Democrats versus the conservative Democrats, which is really where the conversation should be anyways. It's an honest conversation. We're not fighting between two right-wingers, two neoliberal, neoconservative, right-wingers. Instead, we're actually talking about, do we want to change things? Do we want to keep things the same? Okay, so this video here on September 12th, 9:41 in the AM, 2020, is about the ballot questions. It's about the Gallagher Amendment. It's about Amendment B. Amendment B, you need to vote, let's see, a yes vote repeals the Gallagher Amendment. So you got to vote no. You got to vote no. We've got to keep the Gallagher Amendment. I cannot believe, thank God for Tabor. Thank God for Tabor. These damn lazy tax and spend politicians, they're fucking ridiculous. They do want to spend our taxes so goddamn bad. They try to, it's clever, but it's very, politician-y. These tax and spend bureaucrats, they're tricking the people of Colorado. So the Gallagher Amendment says that you have 45% of the local property taxes have got to come from the residential areas, and then 55% comes from the industrial and commercial areas, businesses, right? So the commercial and industrial places have to pay the lion's share. They got to pay 55%. You can't sit there and just tax the shit out of the residents, because why? Because there's no more businesses, there's no more industry, and government says, okay, well, shit, we're not getting the same tax revenue that we're, comfortable with, spending all this money on all these programs that, barely helps me, if it helps me at all. The state, I'm not for sure. Anyway, so just a shit ton of money. I would like to just go ahead and, give the government of Colorado $100, right? And that's all the taxes I'm going to spend. Let's just cut taxes out forever. Take my $100 and make my life better. You got to live within your means. You only got $100. Now, do something with the $100 and then, live a good life. Lead by example. Sitting there just, passing a budget and writing laws. You could be a better, more important leader than just doing the bare necessities when it comes to the job of being a politician, a representative for we the people in a democracy. So again, thank God for Tabor. Thank God for the Gallagher Amendment. I don't just like the Gallagher Amendment. I love the Gallagher Amendment. I love the Gallagher Amendment because, if they actually, the state legislature. So let me tell you the trick. The trick is this. We're going to go ahead and repeal Gallagher Amendment, some obscure 1982 law. We're going to go ahead and repeal the Gallagher. Ooh, Gallagher. Does that even sound like a good... Do we need the Gallagher Amendment? It's been working for about, 40 years now. I think 45%, 55% is a good ratio. If they wanted to actually get it passed, then they should have had a better ratio. What, it should be 50-50? It should be the residents should pay 100%, and let's just let industry and business, not pay anything? What's the new ratio? Instead, they're just getting rid of the Gallagher Amendment, and they're not replacing it with any ratio whatsoever. So we're expected to believe that these lazy tax and spend bureaucrats are going to take, our money, and they're going to have, carte blanche to raise the rates up and down to whatever they want, that they're going to, not live high on the hog. They're not going to soak the working class, the poor. We're not soaking the rich. We're not eating the rich. They're going to soak the people. This fucks over the people. So Amendment B, you got to vote no on Amendment B unless you want to fuck over the people that own houses. And then if you're going to raise property taxes, this is going to hurt rents. This is going to hurt mortgages. It's going to hurt everything across the board. Everybody's got you know, not everybody, but the people in houses are the people, and the people that don't have houses, yeah, they need to get into houses. So I could see how they could probably support something like this. But the people that do have houses, when it comes to businesses and industry, like I said before, right, just because we don't have any more business and industry, we're going to go ahead and raise the taxes on we the people. We're going to raise the property taxes on the residential areas because we don't have any more businesses and industries around to tax. Because what? Did you tax them out of business? What the hell happened to the businesses? What happened to the industry and the commercial? And then if you're going to tax the residents, we don't have jobs if there's no commercial and industry, so you're going to tax the shit out of the residents when there's no jobs in, you know, a Great Depression, Great Recession, whatever this pandemic sort of, you know, chaos at 2020 that we're in right now. This is ridiculous. This is stupid. This is bullshit. They just, you know, these tax and spend bureaucrats, they have no principles. They have no Constitution. They have no moral, ethical code whatsoever. Goddamn ever. The trick is this. The state of Colorado, they don't want to spend any money on local education. And so they're going to trick us and get rid of this Gallagher Amendment, and that's going to raise property taxes. And now the, you know, local governments, they got more money. But you just, you know, it's just a general tax. It's like an inflationary tax. You're going to get rid of the Gallagher Amendment, right? So now there is no ratio, and they're going to let people just tax the resident, you know, the residential properties, whatever they want to tax them. This is ridiculous. I mean, like I said, thank God for Tabor. I love the progressives. I love the left-wingers. I'm not sure if I like the neoliberals or the conservative Democrats. But, yeah, when it comes to, we got to, you know, live within our means. They got the pinch pennies, we got the pinch pennies. You know, it's the same thing. So it's, I don't see why the state government, they secretly want to raise local property taxes so they don't have to be burdened with spending more money on local education. Well, I believe the exact opposite. I want the state government spending more money on this local education. No, you want to take more money out of my pockets because you don't want to, you know, cover the, no, you cover the cost. You think, you know, the local government public education has, you know, the authoritarian, non-democrat, they failed. They have failed anyways. And so you want to sit there and tax me to pay for a failing school? Now, that's you put that, that's you. You pay for that failing school that you instituted. If you don't like it, then, you know, charter schools or whatever. But, Gallagher Amendment. We need to keep the Gallagher Amendment. I love the Gallagher Amendment. When it comes to Amendment B, vote no on Amendment B. Vote no. 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 Colorado do not vote in favor of Amendment B. They didn't come up with an alternative ratio, right? Lazy bureaucrats, they just want to raise our taxes indefinitely so they can have a ball spending our money. So without the Gallagher Amendment, just, you know, there's no new ratio, so it could be 100% comes from residential. Fuck that. 45%, 55%, that means, you know, businesses and industry have to pay the lion's share, and residents, the taxes, only 45% comes from the residents. I love that. That's perfect. That's fine with me. I like that. That is better. I mean, how much more do they want from us? If commercial and industry is going down, there's no jobs, government needs to fuck over its residents for what? Who are you going to, you know, you want to, what, a better, you know, police force? You want more money for, there's no people to police. You know, you've done taxed everybody out of existence. We need commercial and industry. We need the jobs to come back. So it's just, we're not even, I don't even know what the problem, what are we trying to solve here? We're just soaking the poor. We're soaking the working class. We got to keep the Gallagher Amendment. It's been working since 1982. Just because the housing market is booming, the housing market is booming for who? The capitalist owner class. There's poor people and there's people that pay rent. But just because the housing market's booming, that doesn't mean we should exploit the people of Colorado just because gas and oil and industry and manufacturing and corporations are leaving the state of Colorado. We shouldn't exploit the people because there's no jobs and no corporations and no businesses. If anything, this problem requires that we retain the businesses in the industry and the corporations and the manufacturing, the oil and gas companies. We need to retain as much business as we can. Colorado Legislative Council staff says that raising local property taxes will help Colorado State spend less on local education. That's it, right? No, the state has got to spend more on local education. Let the local government spend their money on other things. No, we want more money from the state, not less. And this is Castillo County, Conejos County. This is the two poorest counties in all of Colorado. What, you're going to try to skirt it off on us poor folks? Meanwhile, what, you guys live high on the goddamn hog? Jesus Christ, Dania Escar, I believe out of Pueblo, supports this shit. So we're going to have higher assessment rates, which means higher property taxes on just good common folks, on the regular people, on the common folks. This is insane. Not only is it a dumb, stupid idea, just politically, it just seems like you're just taxing the shit out of everybody for no apparent reason whatsoever. Get rid of the Gallagher Amendment. Why don't you get some, learn how to spend a dollar, learn how to, spend what you got, learn how to live within your means. We're supposed to live within our means, but the government say no. They want, come on. You need to figure out how to pay us, cut us a check. I'm tired of these, taxes being institutionalized. We need to, make sure we're paying. What about the money coming in? Let's get the income, let's get that institutionalized. Let's get some income from our government. Government wants income from us? No, the government should be paying us. We shouldn't be paying them. The government, the politicians work for us. In a democracy, we tell the government what to do. They are our employees. The people are the boss. And here, with, getting rid of the Gallagher Amendment, they're basically saying, no, you're not the boss, people. We're going to go ahead and take all that we're going to, every piece of, every dime, every penny, every little piece of pocket lint, we're going to take it all from you. This is ridiculous. So again, vote no on Amendment B. Vote no, vote no. Keep the Gallagher Amendment. 45% from residential, 45% of the local taxes got to come from residential, property taxes. 55% got to come from commercial and industry. Fantastic ratio. I haven't heard a better number, and, I like it. Keep that ratio. They're going to try to get rid of that ratio, and they don't have anything in its place. So, they're going to go hog wild and live in carte blanche, right? Just a buffet. They're just going to live, meanwhile, we have to eat bread and butter and, jelly and whatever little, ketchup packets just to make sure we got something in our stomachs. We have to have wish sandwiches where there's no meat. We wish we had some meat. Meanwhile, they're going to live, eating caviar and eating buffet. They're eating Golden Corral every day. Every day is a Golden Corral for them. Meanwhile, we have to skimp on by, and they want to take our money. The people that live on Golden Corral, that is fancy. I don't give a fuck who you are. That is Golden Corral, all that food and whenever, Jesus Christ. But some people get to eat like that, right? Whatever they want, as much as they want. So yeah, the specific thing about government schools, they're authoritarian, they're right-wing authoritarian. They've, when it comes to money, when it comes to economics, when it comes to treating each other better, when it comes to skills, when it comes to democracy, our government schools are not teaching us how to do jack shit. If anything, the teachers are showing us that they get the power, they get the money, and we don't get shit. They are killing solidarity. They're killing unions. They're killing the idea that we should all be together and we all should be one. We got a building that we all could get together and say, hey, we're all in this thing together, so let's make sure we all survive. Instead, we got a bunch of assholes who's like, a bunch of dictators, and they're like, no, we get the power and we get the money, and nobody else. I hope to God that the local schools here actually only employ local folks. You got a bunch of outside sons of bitches siphoning all the money here. No, the teachers need to come from the area that, they need to be qualified. But frankly, with the internet, you could teach yourself. So you could just have one of the smart students, hire them to be a teacher, get them in the mentality of the teacher. It probably won't be no good for, first 2 years. But they get into the, then they'll, after some practice, you have to, develop, we got to develop ourselves. And so I hope that the local school system isn't, that's how, Kentucky was, just a bunch of outside assholes. It was kind of like, who the fuck are you pricks? I got to do all this goddamn work for you. And then at the end of the day, you didn't give a shit. It was just about, obey me while you're in this class. Ha-ha, I tricked you, I got my paycheck, so, to hell with all this. I do not want my kid walking into the school building. The only way I want The only way you walk into a school is if you're getting paid or you have a position. You don't walk into the school building as a student. Not in America. No, no, no. Not in an authoritarian, Prussian, industrial, authoritarian, right-wing, non-democratic government schools. No freaking way. There's also a Senate bill. Okay, so you go ahead and get rid of the Gallagher Amendment, right? You vote yes on Amendment B. Senate Bill 223 is going to take effect. So not only is it going to do all this damage, but you're going to pass a bill. It's going to that takes effect if voters approve the constitutional amendment 223. Senate Bill 223 prohibits legislature from changing assessment rates for property which freezes the current residential rates at 7.15% and the non-residential industry and commercial rates at 29%. So we're going to freeze it at just 7%. Oh, I'm so sure. I'm so sure. And just 29. I'm so sure. Yeah. Yeah, you're not going to tax the fuck. Just give you all the power when it comes to, the power of taxation. I'm sure you'll be so benevolent. I'm sure you'll just probably, make sure that taxes is zero. You'll actually figure out a way for government to make their own goddamn revenue, and they're not just asking for their handout, picking our pockets. Instead, they'll actually, be like a McDonald's and make their own fucking money. They actually produce a product that people want, and then people, pay for that product. They actually run a successful business, some kind of business model, some sort of way for, when it comes to the, all these school, they have to sell, like, bake sales, right? You got all these bake sales and shit. How come the police never have a bake sale to cover their cost? You want to, just have your hand out, right? Why don't you have a bake sale? Why don't you bake a cake, and then eventually I'll say, hey, that guy, I don't know if he's a good man or not. He's never done shit for me, but he can, bake one hell of a cake. It's a good way to meet your people and, build relationships and what have you. So what? So what am I saying? I'm saying vote no on Amendment B. Okay, Colorado, don't fucking vote yes on Amendment B. Gallagher Amendment is awesome. I love the Gallagher Amendment. We're going to keep the Gallagher Amendment. We're going to vote no on Amendment B. We're going to keep property tax assessment rates right at the 45%, 55% levels, and government's just going to live within their means. Sit there and cry to me about not having money. You're the government. You got our money. So what? You don't have enough money to pay? I bet you they all eat high. I bet you they got, like I said, buffet, Golden Corral lifestyles. They probably eat at Taco Bell, McDonald's all the time, right? They just eating out all the time. Got that, this all about that life, living high on the hog, eating at McDonald's and Taco Bell every day. Just, living that life. So to recap, vote no on Amendment B, vote no on Amendment 76, vote yes on Proposition 116, vote no on Proposition EE. Proposition 113, 115, 114. The verdict is still out, but vote yes on Proposition 116. So Proposition 116, state income tax reduction, yes. Drop it by 0.08%. Live within your means, government. Sit there, keep on trying to fucking rob us with taxes. They are so greedy, nonstop. And there's Tabor. They know that there's Tabor. They can't raise taxes without our permission. They just, try to slip this shit in. It's fucking bullshit. And, I'm progressive and liberal. It's just, fucking taxes. Fuck, goddamn. Quit trying to fuck us over with taxes so much, just all the time. Oh, I know, I got a solution. What? Raise taxes? Yeah. That's not a solution. How about open up a McDonald's and then use that revenue for the fucking people? You're not allowed to do that? Well, then do something, similar or, something that's do something like that. Fuck. Figure out how to make your own fucking money so you're not always, with your hand out. And if the only way is to create a culture of, successful businesses, well, then we got to keep the business. We got to get industry and commercial to come back. You want more money for local education? Then make sure McDonald's and fudge factories and, make sure there's cookie shops and there's bakeries and make sure there's businesses all over the place and that there's safety and security and that they can have a business and that they're successful, and that, you keep them. You want to keep them, right? The small businesses are actually number one creator of jobs, so you want to keep, all the businesses, large and small. If that's the only way you're going to collect taxes is with the climate of, with no enterprises, okay, then you got to have a climate of just hustle and bustle, just capitalism all over the place. So, yeah, Proposition 116, we're going to drop the state income tax rate, of course we are. We're going to kill the Electoral College. Should we prohibit late-term abortions? Yes, we should prohibit late-term abortions, but where? At 8 months? I think 8 months is too long. You waited to 8 months, and now you want to kill the baby? I heard that, you could have a C-section. So to have an abortion is, a pretty serious medical operation, and a C-section is a pretty serious medical operation. You waited 8 months? Why did you wait 8 months? Are you living in an oppressive situation? You couldn't get out or some shit? Okay, then we need to, protect you. But if you're just lazy and you just, just at the very last second was like, you know what? Nah, I don't want this thing or something, just whatever they say, birth control. If that's it, 8 months, you waited 8 months and it's just for birth control? No, that's bullshit. It's almost a full-grown fetus. If that fetus, is in the mother, if I have a wife and she's got an 8-month fetus in the car and we get into a car wreck, you killed, and you killed my wife and the baby. You killed the baby. You killed 2 lives. You killed a life that I want to keep. That baby's 8 months and you're going to say, oh, it's not a baby because it's not an American citizen yet. But to me, life is viability. When that baby can live outside of the mother, then it's its own person. Then, give it its chance. Have a C-section. Let the baby come out. If it breathes and can live on the ventilator, then, it succeeds. If it doesn't, then the mother was allowed to do it. And if it, does live, the mother's allowed to do it either way. So she could always have a C-section. But it's like, hurry up and go for abortion. I swear to God, when it comes to, there's a balance between life and choice. There's definitely a balance between life and choice. And so, perhaps, the propaganda got to me when I was real young, but I remember just looking at these partial birth, late-term abortions. They wait to 8 months, and they're basically a full-grown human baby. Well, how are you going to abort a full-grown human baby? Chop off its head? You're going to suck out its brains? Just bash it, on the edge of a table? How are you going to, kill this 8-month-year-old full-grown, 8-pound baby fetus thing or what have you? So, you need a line. And too many liberals, when people say 9 months, somebody said 30 trimester. Yeah, that's my fear. What? You brought me into this world, you could take me out. There's too much child abuse. I need to know that you give a shit about your child and that you don't think that you can kill your own kid. No, you cannot kill your kid. No, you cannot kill your kid. You had the kid. It wasn't their decisions for the kid to be born, and now you're going to sit there and say you get to abuse it and torment it and then, take no. No, you brought you in this world, I get to take you out. No, you don't. You brought me in this world. Now back the fuck up. My life has, I have just as many rights as any and every other person out here. So my life, has value. My life counts, and so does every other person who is born. Some people say it's birth, right? So at 9 months when birth is given, that's when you have life. And it's just kind of, crazy. So basically life for the, pro-abortionist, absolutist. I'll tell you this about, I guess I'll just end it off on the late-term abortions. But I want the, the health and family leave too. Proposition 116, so we need to pass health and family leave, get us 3 to 4 months, weeks of, emergency health and family leave so we don't lose our jobs if an emergency comes up. And no to taxes on vaping, nicotine, tobacco. They already, taxing tobacco like $1 a pack. It's already too much. It's already too much tax on tobacco. And vaping, quit trying to, God, they're just trying to find a way to tax any and every goddamn thing that they can. So, the last thing, it's a late-term abortion. If you tell me that you believe in 9 months, absolutist, you can have an abortion up to 9 months, I need to hear that you also believe that you can't kill your own kid, you can't beat up your own kid. So, because it just seems to me that you have no level. You have no morals. You're just saying, yeah, I get to destroy this fetus up until 30th trimester. I know he was making a joke or he was, using hyperbole, but that's the problem. That's the problem. 30th trimester. So that means, Jesus Christ, after they're, full grown. So, no, parents, liberal parents, I need to know you're not abusing your kids because they're going to take it out on the rest of society, and you cannot kill you do not think that you could kill your own kid, especially if it's born, perhaps if it's a fetus, there's a line at 6 months, I think, but once it's the birth, I think we need to define when life begins. Life begins just at birth? Okay, well then that's the law, that's the law. In Colorado, it's 9 months. So I believe the line is like at 6 months, 7 months, which is closer to Roe v. Wade. And so 6, 7 months, they're calling for 4.5 months. I think 5.5, but they're talking about the first period, not the last period that you had, not the, when fertilization happened. So I think it could be up to a month. So anyways, 4.5 months is their cutoff day. But the, absolutists are 9 months. And so I say 6 months. 4.5 is 1.5 months away from 6 months, and 9 months is away, 3 months away. So they're farther away. The left-wing, pro-choice, absolutist, 9 months, it doesn't matter. It's not a life, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, up to 9 months, unless you accidentally give birth, and then, oh, well, shit, now it's life. But before birth, so these 9-month absolutists are 3 months away from me, and so these right-wing conservatives are, 4.5 months. They're saying that they're going to try to take this, and, it's the one little, just get the foot in the door, and then you can, rob the whole store or what have you. So, I hope I haven't been duped. I'm not trying to, I'm pro-choice. I want a woman to have the right to, have an abortion. I want abortions to be rare, safe, and legal. Rare, safe, and legal. So I'm pro-choice, and yeah. So I just believe that there should be a line, and when a person doesn't show me that they have a line, you don't think that there's a life. Does it ever become a life to you? And in fact, they don't even say life begins at birth. So it's like, when does life ever? 30th trimester? Yeah, you don't think life ever begins? You don't think life even matters? That's kind of sick, and that's I don't subscribe to that, and I never have, and I never will. And no, we should not release the fucking gray wolves, but I did hear like they're good with the ecology. Do we need the help? Would gray wolves be a good idea? I don't know. I keep going back and forth on that, so we'll see when I'll do that one next, actually. So. Proposition 114 coming up next. Peace. This damn thing turn off!